you ever walked into a room and felt your sparkle start to fizzle? That's someone dimming your light, and we are not here for that. Today, we're spilling the tea on what dims your shine, who's holding the dimmer switch, and how to take it back.
I got this idea about talking about this topic from an interview that Dove Cameron was doing on the Jennifer Hudson show. And she was talking about this like ex-boyfriend of hers that one time, like after an event, she was like, he said to her, you know, people like you more when you talk less. And she was just like talking about being comfortable in your muchness and not like dimming your light. And I was like, this is the perfect thing to talk about right now. And it goes perfectly with like our blind highlights kind of situation.
You know what? I love the term muchness and being comfortable in your muchness. And she said it best. Watching the interview, she pointed out that there is something so beautiful about someone just being their full self, no matter what that may look like, someone who's just like so comfortable being themselves. And to me, that is the most attractive thing when someone is just fully like 100% authentically them and not trying to minimize themselves for anybody else. I know that I've been through that. I know that you've been through that. I mean, that's something we're going to get into later, but she's right. There's something so attractive about someone just sitting in their muchness.
Exactly. You know, and I really didn't know much about Dove Cameron. Like I know she has some really great music. But I guess she came from Disney and maybe I just didn't pay attention enough to like the Disney stars. But I gotta say, her boyfriend though, her current boyfriend, he's also a fellow rock star. So I think he totally gets I think he allows her to be, and I really shouldn't say allow, but like he admires her living in her muchness and he admires her being extra and being a pop star.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know who her boyfriend is?
No.
Okay. So, he's the guy from that like Italian rock band that's like Manskin or whatever. His name is like Dominio.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes. He's so
Oh,
freaking
that's her
hot.
boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's what I gotta
And
say.
see,
Like,
that's even more attractive about him, is that he is so confident in himself that he's like, shine your light, baby. Like, go be
exactly.
yourself, be extra, be that woman. And it's not bursting his ego.
Exactly. It's so funny because since I listened to that, my TikTok algorithm has like took me down the rabbit hole of them together. So I've like learned everything about like all of her exes, and then I was learning more about him too. And it was just like apparently he plays on like a soccer league, and she goes and watches his like soccer games.
Oh my God. She's like all in the bleachers. I really wanted to have an athlete boyfriend so I could go and watch his games and like be that cute girlfriend. But the older I got, and like, especially now being married, like when Michael goes and plays a sport, especially if he was playing like a beer league hockey, I was like, I'm not going and watching this. Like, no. But like when I was younger, that was the goal for me. But now I'm like, you go do you. I'm not watching this.
I tried to join a dodgeball league, like an adult, just like for fun dodgeball league. Okay, and these people were not doing it for fun. This was major competition, and I was like, y'all need to just like chill the fuck out, really calm down because it's not that serious. Like,
No.
and I'm just like dilly dallying around. I can't catch the ball. Like, I'm just a mess out there. I did one game as a substitute, never asked back.
Oh my God. We're okay. So I don't do sports. I hate playing sports. But this year, I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know if it's like my age. I'm just a little bit more confident or just not really caring. And I'm like, yeah, I'll try anything. Like I've just been like in this thing where I had like no fucks to give. And Michael asked me if I would play on his softball team. And I said yes.
Oh,
And that is major. Like I don't know the rules of softball, baseball, whatever. I don't even know the difference. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put myself out there and I'm gonna try to play a sport this summer.
oh my God. We had to have blonde highlights exclusives on this.
Honestly, like I want our team to be sponsored by Blonde Highlights so we can get jerseys made. How cool.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to our accountant about that and see if
See if
we
we
can make
can
that
do
happen.
this. Yeah.
The only athletes I'm dating is either a hockey player
Mm.
or I don't know. I guess now I'm on this whole thing. I'm gonna date a rock star. Is what's gonna happen. This is where we're going with this.
Honestly, I mean, why not?
Literally, why
Lock them
not?
down, baby. I've always wanted to date a rock star.
Right?
Drummers. I always had a thing for drummers.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Tommy Lee. I was like 17 years old and had a massive crush on Tommy Lee. And everyone around me is like, "What's wrong with you?" Or then, okay, I could go for Slash. I had a huge crush on Slash. Like I always loved a rock star.
Really?
Yes, I loved like the tattoos. I loved like the grunginess. I loved like all of it. I
Yeah.
loved that whole entire vibe of a rock star.
Right.
If I was in like the 70s or living in the 80s as like a teenager or an adult, I would have 100% been a groupie.
Literally. Like we don't have. I think as a millennial generation, look, we don't have enough.
No,
There's not enough of them.
no, and they're not the same.
No, they're not.
They're not.
No, but there's a few that are like living that lifestyle that I'm down with.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you thrive and shine right now because I have this hunch that you have so much to talk to me about right now. Like, I know you are just bursting to talk to me about everything Coachella right now.
Yeah, well, okay, I've never been to Coachella. We'll probably never go to Coachella because unless I have artist pass and I can get like chauffeured around, like I'm just like not about to stand out in the crazy heat and large crowds and just it's I don't know about all that. But I do love like the pop culture moments that happen at Coachella. And I gotta say, like, this is so crazy that like Charlie XCX was not even a headliner, but in my mind, she headlined on Saturday night, like crazy headline, like it
She
was
wasn't a headliner? I thought
no,
she was the headliner.
no, she performed at like 7 p.m.
What?
Yes, I think Green Day was the headliner that night.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And so when I guess when the headliner's performing, like they're the only one performing, but like when the other people are performing, like during the day, like the earlier shows, there's other people playing. And I gotta say, Charlie XCX, she got up there,
Oh,
and Lady Gaga headlined the night before, so then there was that, and I watched parts of it, but the Bratchella that happened, you would have thought it was the headliner going off of the crowd, but apparently there was enough
she
people
had
going to.
main character energy the whole time. Like this,
Yes.
her show was that.
Yes, and this is where I got this from. Okay, literally, this it altered my brain chemistry. It literally altered it because I'm like, you know what the thing about Charlie XCX is, and why we like her, and why this whole brat thing situation is because even though that she is a pop singer, she has merged the like hardcore like 90s rock star with pop music. Like that's the whole
Yes.
vibe. And then she has like the adventures of it all. Like she got up there and Troye Sivan performed with her. Okay. People were like, okay, well, she brought him out. Because, like they always bring a person out. Then
Mm-hmm.
she brings out Lord to sing Girl
Mm-hmm.
So Confusing. And then she brings out Billie Eilish to do Guess.
I almost fainted when I saw her come out. Oh my God. You all know my obsession with Billie Eilish, like my crush. She was so hot on that stage. I was fangirling from my phone. Like,
Literally.
yeah,
I was
she
like,
killed that whole performance.
I was texting you and I'm like, my brain chemistry is being altered as we speak. And I was like, going on about it. And you're like, I'm in a movie. Like, I'm sending you
I know
clips.
I was in the Minecraft movie and you're texting me being like, oh my God, this is happening. And then I don't have my TikTok still. So I had to go home and like go through the internet to try to find all these clips so I could watch it. And finally I found a channel that like had most of it all posted.
Mm.
And I was so taken back. Like it was really cool the way she did it.
Yeah, and the thing is someone mentioned, and I didn't even process it until somebody mentioned it way after, is that Charlie had no stage backup, no background singers, no background dancers. It was just her on stage besides the two guests you brought out. Like who puts
Mhm.
on that big of a live performance with just themselves on stage?
Yeah.
And I didn't even process it that it was just her because there was so much going on. I was so entertained and I'm like, that is talent. Like At one point, she was just like crawling down the freaking stage, screaming into the mic. And not like screaming the lyrics, just like screaming at the top of her lungs. Like the lighting, all of it. Like I literally, the outfit, like I can't even describe how good it was. And a lot of people are saying like maybe there's a new album coming out. People are saying like what's going to happen next week because it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So if she brought out the three biggest people, then who is she going to bring out for next week?
Oh my God.
You know, like that's the thing is who's going to be there. And then also too, like I feel like there was like, you know, there's always like the celebrity section, like the VIP section.
Yeah.
So when they did the Apple dance, she had Alex Kasani, the really tall like trans model that I'm obsessed with that I love.
Yeah.
And then she
Yeah.
had Gabriette and she had like Queen Blackwell, whatever her last name is, I can't remember. But they did the Apple dance. And then what people were missing when they were doing the Apple dance is that Kylie Jenner was like half beside the one girl and she like looks over and sees that she's on the screen and she like ducks down and is trying to hide behind them as they were doing the Apple dance.
Oh my God. She looked cute though. She looked cute.
Literally, yeah, so cute.
She looks so cute. You know what I was thinking today, actually, in the shower? I was
Mm-hmm.
like, if you want to know the difference between Kyle and I, so we're very alike and we're very similar, but we have an inner energy that's different. And I was thinking, I was like, if we were to think of it on a pop star level,
Yes.
I'm Sabrina Carpenter and you're Charlie.
Yeah. No, no. Okay, literally, I had this entire thought. You thought of this out of my brain. I was like, no, I literally had this whole thought last night and I was like, Chris is so like I was like I was like you know what actually like me and Chris are the rock stars of the podcasting community. That's what the thing is. That's what's happening. You know what I mean? That's why people tune into
Yes.
this podcast. And I was like you're Sabrina Carpenter 100% and your cute little outfits and you're like boop 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 all this stuff. And then what was that sound I just made? And then
Boop, boop, boop.
boop. And then me, I was like, I'm trying to get, or at least I'm trying to give Charlie XCX. I don't fully know if I am. But if someone said, big day for annoying girls everywhere. And I was like, okay, that describes me. You know what I mean? That's why I do think I am Charlie XCX.
You honestly are. Like, I was thinking about it in the shower today, and I was like, oh my God. It just clicked into me, and I was like, I have to bring this up today. And I love that you've already thought of this.
I already thought this entire thing through. And we need our choice of Vaughn.
Oh my God.
That's why I literally, on top of like the sunglasses, they're coming with me more places now.
Yes.
And the black eyeliner, it got more smudged and more black eyeliner going on.
I noticed that today, actually. I
Yeah.
noticed your eyeliner. I was like, she's really going through it. Like, she was inspired this
I was
weekend.
inspired. I told you that the performance changed my life. Like literally, I
Changed
came
the
home
whole course of your life.
forever, forever. It just like reminded me like I'm that bitch. Okay, that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of who I was and who I
You
am.
are that bitch. Yes.
Right, right. And I was
I
just
know
like
you're that bitch.
same. And I know you're that bitch that's like gonna like
Right?
piss off all of the
Boop, boop,
UK, but
boop.
like dancing a little too sexy on stage. I'm
Yes.
just kidding. No, but like
Yes.
with the blonde hair and the cute little outfits, it is so you. I don't know. It's so funny that you thought of that the same time that I was thinking of that.
Oh my God.
But I
'Cause
do.
we're conjoined.
But you know what? Was inspired by Charlie's performance though, because I'm like, you know what? I do think I need to start doing my hair a little more like cool like that. Like I think I'm going to start to like wave my hair a little bit more, like when it's wet, like with gel or whatever, and get some like
Yes.
crazy texture going on and lots of sea salt spray.
Can we bring back those crispy curls?
Yes, that's
You
what.
know those gelled, scrunched, crispy curls? Easiest hairstyle. Takes 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Lasts all day. They
yeah.
need to bring that back. We need to bring that back.
I don't know if I want mine to look too crispy, but it can be crispy before I like break it up.
No, I want it crispy. I want it to be like she's got a whole bottle of gel in that hair.
Scrunch, and then you like flat iron the bangs.
Oh my God, no. Oh my, just,
The sizzle.
oh my God. Okay, so what's your highlight this week?
My highlight is okay. Listen to this shit. So my car had some car problems, and
Hmm.
I changed
What's
my
her
own.
name again? Hold on. What's her name? Hold on. Give me the
Who?
first letter. Your car.
Oh, I almost forgot. Stacy's mom.
Stacey's mom. Yes,
Stacy's
Stacey's
mom.
mom.
Yeah,
She's
Stacy's
got it
mom.
going on.
She got, well, she did not have it going on and she broke down. Okay, well, she just wouldn't start. And like, it's probably was like so obvious that it was like the battery, but in my head, I was like, it's the spark plugs. It's the spark plugs. Because the guy at the auto place last time I did this, he said like your spark plugs are going to need changed, and there were some other signs, and I was like, you know how I just turn the music up like when there's a
Yeah,
problem,
yeah.
and
We just hide away from it.
yes, well, it wouldn't let me hide away from it anymore because it wouldn't start. But anyway, so I thought it was the spark plugs. I had to go get like a brain scan, like an MRI done. And so they gave me like some lorazepam, which I thought was hilarious because of the White Lotus.
I
When she's
know.
always like, my lorazepam. So they gave me a lorazepam. I go to the MRI like at 7 in the morning and I'm like, I need to get this car fixed before I have work tomorrow. So I was going to have AAA come and look at the car, maybe take it to a place to get it changed.
Mhm.
High on lorazepam, I was like, I can do this. So I Ubered to the auto parts store. I called my dad in the Uber and I'm talking to him and he's like, are you okay? Because I'm like slurring my words almost because I'm like high as shit trying to get at the auto parts store. And I came back home and I changed the spark plugs in my car.
She's not lying. She sent me videos and friggin' pictures of her in her garage changing the spark plugs. I'm like, you need to take a nap. You need to go lay down.
And then all of that and the car still wouldn't start.
Yeah,
So
because it wasn't your spark plug.
no, but they needed to be changed anyways when I did it. But anyway, so I called. Well, no, at first I had my roommate jump my car, and then it started, and I was like, "Oh, great!" It was the freaking battery this whole time. So I go to this place to have them like look at the battery, but then I forgot and I turned the car off, so the car broke down again.
Oh
So
my
then I
God.
had this guy
Oh
jump
my
my
God.
car so I could go home, call AAA. They came, they tested it. I bought a new battery. The car is running, and it's running extra smooth after I fixed the spark plugs.
Yeah, she said, I am a mechanic. This is my side hustle now.
Yeah, yeah.
That is a positive. You were like, you know what? I'm going to live in all my high muchness right now.
Yes, and my muchness, right?
I'm not too much to change a freaking spark plug. I can do this. I don't need a man.
Mm-mm. The fame hasn't got to me.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So what? What is your low light? I thought that was going to be a low light. How worse did it get?
Oops, at my low light, per usual.
Clearly, Kyle had a shitty week. That's her highlight.
Well, I just like proud of myself. You know what I mean? The highlight
I
is
know.
I accomplished that.
Hmm.
So the low light
Hmm.
also involving cars because I live in LA and it's just, you know, there's a lot of drama that happens on the road. So the low light is these complete assholes and they're like crazy expensive cars thinking they own the damn roads. Okay? I'm driving through Beverly Hills and it should be a roundabout, but it's not a roundabout. It's just a massive circle where like 6 or 7 roads like intertwine and it's just like stop signs. And people just like stop and then just like haul ass through the middle of the circle and cut across. Like it's not a roundabout where you go around. It's you just like go right across that center thing. And it's like 6 or 7 roads combining right there. It is not for the weak. And so it is my turn to go. And mind you, too, like this, like no one's going to wait their turn. Like everyone's so very important here. You know, everyone is of the most importance. And so finally, like, I'm like, okay, I'm going the car across the thing. We telepathically, like, let's go. So we go to cross. And so we can go at the same time because we're running parallel to each other. Out of nowhere, this guy or this person in a Rolls Royce just floors it.
Oh
Okay,
my God.
floors it, comes straight at me, lays on the horn, and I just swerve and I just barely, like, they had to miss me by like an inch or something, and then almost hits the other car. And what happened is they were just like, they were like, everyone's stopping at the stoplight, I'm just gonna floor it, and I'm in my huge Rolls Royce, and everyone's gonna get out of my way. They're like, I'm not waiting for these peasants at the stop sign. This is, and then just like, you know what, F you and your car, because I don't care about your a very expensive steel boat you're driving around over here. Like, I just do not care at all. Like, you're
It's
not.
because they don't have anything to lose. Like,
Yeah.
like if I hit something, it's like I have to pay for that. And
Yeah.
like that's like when Michael hit my bumper's still fucked up. Like I'm not paying for that right now. You know
No,
what I mean? Like,
exactly.
and they don't
Yes.
care.
Yeah, and I was just like, this asshole. Like, I was so mad. I was literally, one, I was so shaken up because I can't imagine the impact of getting smacked and being hit by one of those things. But also, then I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Maybe it isn't some like asshole guy that just thinks he owns the road. The thing is about Beverly Hills, there's a lot of older rich women that they like their pills. They like to have a Vicodin. They like to have a lorazepam.
No,
Okay.
lorazepam.
And they like to have a wet lunch. They like to go to lunch, have a lot of Chardonnay, maybe a martini with the pills on
Oh,
top of that. And then they get in their
oh
Rolls
my
Royce or their Bentley and they just haul ass
Yeah,
home.
they're like, fuck it, get out of my way.
They're just on pills, drunk as hell on Chardonnay. And they're like, I will hit anything in my way. Just move.
Do you know that Kim Kardashian almost hit me in her Rolls Royce?
Really?
Hmm. In 2016.
Stop.
Quick story, quick story. She was at this restaurant and she was with her brother and Black China, and they came out and everyone started running. And there's actually a paparazzi picture. My friend Rima and I saw it, and Rima's like walking down the street, like headed towards Kim Kardashian, and I'm still standing looking in the restaurant because I didn't see her come out because I thought she was my height. She's not tall.
No, girl,
And
she's like barely 5 foot.
girl, I did not know that. I was waiting for her to come out, and then I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God. And Rima's yelling at me. She's like, she's right here. Like, she's already out. Like, she really wanted to see her. She wanted to have a celebrity sighting. So anyways, I start walking, and this Rolls Royce, this like silver car, pulls up out of the underground parking, and I have to like step back, and it's her. And I was just like, hey.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
it's okay, you almost took me out, but
On
whatever. It
foot.
was funny.
Do you know something? I almost got hit on foot by a celebrity in a Rolls Royce too.
Oh my God, we're so
So
alike.
alike. I know. This goes back to like 2010, 2011 or something like that. And is his name Russell Simmons? Kamora Lee Simmons' ex-husband?
No clue.
I think it's Russell Wilson. Anyways, I was walking past like the entrance, the parking ground entrance to like the Equinox in West Hollywood, and he just came flooring in there, and I had to like run out of the way so he didn't hit me.
Yeah, because they don't care.
Yeah.
They're like, we can afford to fix this. You know what I mean? We can afford to hide this
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah.
you know? Um, Now, my highlight this week it is really cute. So I had Sterling's birthday party. He turned 9 last weekend, and we had his birthday party. So I had 9 kids over, and they wanted to do a murder mystery party, but their idea of a murder mystery party is Sterling said exactly he wanted his friends to come in and find either me or daddy dead on the floor. And I was like, he's like, we can put fake blood, we can do whatever. And I'm like, dude, like, awesome idea. I love where you're going with this. But like, some of your friends are going to be scared. Like, we can't traumatize your friends. So, anyways, we did a theme, and it was Who's the Millionaire, which is a show that's on Netflix right now that we're obsessed with. So I used the outline and the rules of Who's the Millionaire But then I put a gold duck in one of the boxes, and whoever found that was the murderer. So I stuck to the murderer theme, but used a different guideline. And this party was a hit. Like I pulled this all out of my ass, and these kids had the most fun. I did like a cheap freaking at home birthday party. I mean, like I got everything I needed from the Dollar Tree. And Sterling said it was the best party he's had. And the night before, I picked up one of his friends. We did a sleepover and we went and saw the Minecraft movie. Okay, Jack Black is so funny. And what's the other guy's name? Jason, is it Jason Momoa? I always want to say Jason Mimosa, but Jason,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He was so funny in this movie. I was dying laughing. Like Michael was looking over at me to be like, really? And I was dying. Anyways, so if you have kids and you're going to go see the Minecraft movie, it's so much fun. Okay, my low light though is this week I had a close encounter with a close talker.
With a close
And the
talker.
way, what?
A close talker.
A close talker, like someone who speaks with their face, like basically like right in your face.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This was a complete stranger in the grocery store. And they were asking me a question where something is like, one, I was in Walmart, okay, so I have no sign of uniform on me, so I didn't understand why they were asking me where like a certain spice was. It wasn't even like the meat. And she was like, do you know where this is? Do you know? And I was just like, no, I'm sorry, like I don't work here. And she kept telling me what she needed the spices for, but the more she was going on, it was like the closer she was getting to my face. Like I was literally backing my neck up, trying to keep her. It was like she was going in for a kiss. That is the most uncomfortable feeling. I finally just stepped back and I was like, anyways, like good luck. Like the most uncomfortable situation to be in, especially with someone that you don't know. Like, get out of my face.
Oh no, I do not like that. Like, do not get that close to me. I need my private
Don't get
bubble.
that close to me. No, don't bring your face. Like we were almost touching noses. Like she was trying to tell me everything and she was like really just like animated and like looking up at me and like trying to just get close to me. Ugh. Threw me
No.
right off. Almost
Imagine if
ruined
her
my whole day.
imagine if her breath smelled bad and she's that close up in your face.
It was almost like she was so close that I wouldn't have been able to smell it. I would have tasted it at that point.
Oh my god, you should just been like
So messed up.
boop,
Boop, boop, boop, boop.
just to you're gonna bite her.
Yeah, just like, I don't know where it is. But like, don't ask me. I don't know where the spices are. Do you know what I mean? Like, go ask someone that works here. Go
Yeah.
in their face.
Yeah, I don't
I don't
know.
know. Mm-mm. It bothered me. But that was my low light.
Yeah. That is a low light.
That's a big low light. I'm sorry. That's a major low light.
Exactly. I don't even like too much eye
Close
contact.
talkers are like, my thing though is that like, how do they not know that they're being weird, that they're crossing a boundary, that they're making the other person uncomfortable? I don't understand because there's a lot of close talkers out there, and I don't understand how they don't realize what they're doing.
They may just judge people who don't talk really close. They're not as engaged.
Oh my God. Do you think they do it as like a power thing?
It could be. It could be.
Do you think it's like a control thing?
It could be. But some people
We
are
need
just
to,
clueless of how they go about life. Like they don't even
I think we need to do a deep dive and see if there's some sort of like theory on this.
the psychology behind close talkers.
Yes, yes, a behavioral thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm into it. Anyways, speaking of into it, maybe we should get into our topic today.
Yes.
So, first of all, like, what does it mean to have your light dimmed? So, for me, it's when you're just not feeling like yourself anymore. Like, I have a big personality, I have a bubbly personality, and there have been times in my life where either someone around me or a situation around me, such as grief or something, has just sucked that life out of me and has completely dimmed my light. And how I started to recognize that is I started second guessing myself. I wasn't confident in myself or the things that I was doing. And I realized that I was exhausted by people, certain people in relationships that used to energize me. Do you know what I mean? Like there's certain people around you that you can be around and you can have a great time, but then you realize over time that like they're no longer doing anything for you and your spirit. They're more so sucking the life and like exhausting you. And if that's happening, then that person is dimming your light.
Exactly. There's been times where I used to think like I'm too much or I'm annoying or like I have to like I would always have to constantly like monitor what I say and be careful like what all this stuff and I'm just like I didn't realize for the longest time that that was me dimming my light to fit other people's view. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
because I like just like you I'm a lot and then now I know like there's certain friends in my life and I know that we're friends because we're all a lot, we're all living in our muchness as like Dove Cameron would say, and that's the kind of group of people I hang out with that doesn't try to force me to make myself smaller or to make myself my personality less out there and less, whatever you want to call it. And I didn't realize for the longest time, especially in my 20s, and even before that, as in high school and everything, like everyone thought that I was definitely I wasn't a popular kid. I was always embarrassed about my personality and who I was. And what it was is that people had like pushed that light down. Like some of us have like a
Mm-hmm.
big light inside. And when people try to dim that light, like turn the little like switch down on you, you know what I mean? And if you feel like in a room,
Mm-hmm.
like there's been certain jobs that I've had too, where it's like no one likes me and everyone thinks that I'm this or I'm that and all of these things. And they just don't like that I'm like a big personality and that I'm going to talk and have a lot going on or whatever. And I want everybody else around me to live in their like fullness of everything. But when you're in those situations and you're like, oh, I got to be careful or quiet, I can't say this, or I'm going to go in and I'm just going to be quiet and like not put my input
Mm-hmm.
in, or when they say like you talk too much or you try to take over a conversation and you try to whatever. And it's like, no, I'm sorry that I'm too bright for you or I have too big of a personality for you. I'm not going to make myself smaller to fit with you. So you can either catch up or be yourself completely. Don't call me annoying. Don't call me, you know,
Mm-hmm. Too much
too
or yeah.
much.
And that's it. I think like that all comes back into like the second guessing yourself. Like I've been in situations where say I've gone to a party and maybe I'm feeling really good and I'm excited to go and then all of a sudden I get there and all of a sudden I'm like, does anybody even like me? Oh, maybe I shouldn't talk to this person. Don't say this. Don't do that. And you are second guessing every little thing about yourself. And it's saddening. Like I remember when I went through my grieving period after my ex-boyfriend Sam passed away, I felt like my whole inner light was dimmed and it took so long to get back. And that was a situation that I couldn't control. But what you can control is like who you're surrounding yourself with, who is making you feel in your muchness opposed to making you feel like you're dimming yourself. And there's ways that you can recognize when your light is being dim. So one of the ways we'll start with is you feel smaller around this person. So like Kyle was saying, you shrink yourself and you tone yourself down to fit their personality and you stay a little bit more quiet and you maybe just like don't allow yourself to shine. And it's like if you're usually a 10 and then they make you feel like a 3, that's not your crowd.
No,
Do
not
you know
at
what I mean?
all.
Like when you walk into a room and you're like, I'm feeling like a 10, like I've got it, and you're confident, and you leave that room and all of a sudden you're feeling like a 3, like, okay, they didn't like me. I don't know if I said too much, blah, 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 blah. Next time I need to do this, those are not your people.
No, not at all. When I go back to my hometown, I notice a lot of other people. They think like, oh, be living in the city has turned into this whole thing, and it's like they want you to feel small with them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And And but I was just saying that that's something I feel like comes with small towns a lot.
Hmm.
Like it's like you're not going with the flow. You're standing out
Yeah,
too much.
you're stepping outside of the box,
So
and we are born in this box and we stay in this box. And if you step out, and if you, God forbid, you want to like chase your dreams or do something, then like you're kind of in the wrong and you're never going to make it. And there's no point. And what are you doing? It's too much of a risk. All of those things, right?
exactly, exactly. And that's what I was. There is. If you start to feel that way, no matter the situation, whether it's with your family, whether it's work or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, again, is you feel like there's ways that we make ourselves second guess ourselves, but there's way that people can make you second guess yourself. And that's when they have you starting to doubt your choices. They might use things or say things and hold them against you, or they might like gaslight you and be like, are you sure that's a good idea? And that could be maybe when you're bringing something to the table that you're really excited to share, and all of a sudden someone's just like, are you sure about that? And you could go into that conversation and you could be 100% confident and you can know exactly what you want. And then they gaslight you and say something like that, and you're left confused, not understanding anymore, and completely unsure of your decision.
Yeah, and I was just thinking there was a friend and that I'm no longer friends with, and I guess the reason was because I around them. It took me a while to pick up on that, but I everything I would go to say to them, I would be so confident about something, and then I would start to talk to them about it, and then I would start like second guessing the way that I was explaining it and like leaving parts of it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, and then I would get so flustered, and you would think that I had no confidence in this situation. Actually, this person, the end of our friendship was over us starting this podcast because
Mm-hmm.
they were making me second guess it about my decision to do this and making me feel like some sort of way about it. And I was like, I am not okay with this. I'm not okay with
Yeah.
this. But I realized in this friendship with this person, I was constantly second guessing everything conversation I had with them. And I was constantly making myself smaller. They always made me feel like I was being completely delusional about everything.
No.
No.
I always find that I'm second guessing myself or kind of dimming my light when I'm in conversation with people and they're asking me questions and I don't know how to answer them when I know the answer. Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like they could be asking me something that I know and that I can speak confidently about, but when I talk to them, it's like I know nothing about the topic.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you're like trying to change to make them feel enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you know that
Yes.
they're going to take it. That you living in your muchness, you talking about this way and such, and knowing so much about it is going to make them feel some sort of way about it. And the other thing I'm thinking about with this friend in particular is I was always like anything that I had to celebrate, I would minimize that celebration. Like I felt like they could only celebrate me in a very small dose, with me making the situation sound worse too. Do you know what I mean? Like if
Mm-mm.
I was very
Mm-mm.
excited about a decision or something that was happening and I was all of these things, I would minimize it to be like, oh, well, it's just because of this, or there's not going to be that many people there, or there's going to be, and I would try to minimize my celebration because I knew that
Mhm.
they could only celebrate me in a very small way.
Yes, I've been in that situation too, and I just think it's so unfair because your friends and your supporters, they should take all of your even small wins and it should just be exciting. It could be the smallest thing, but if you're excited about it, they should make you realize how much of a big deal it is. Do you know what I mean? Like your friend should really be highlighting, your friend should be excited for you, your friend should be encouraging you, not making you feel like you have to dim your light. And I really noticed this with my childhood friends. I remember telling them when I was just about to move to LA and I was kind of just being really modest and I was like, yeah, like I'm going to California, and I was trying to keep it, I didn't want to be too excited around them, and not because they made me feel like I need to dim my light, but because I was just not confident enough in myself to dim my or to be confident about the situation. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I had to be modest about it. And they were like, you need to be excited. They were like, like, don't worry about us. Like every win is our win. And they threw me a huge party when I was moving. It was a huge thing. And those are the friends that you need. You need people that, even if you're not confident in yourself, they're going to boost you, and they're going to be the one that's like, no, this is a win, and we're going to make it a win for you.
Exactly. And I noticed that too, like in the beginning of my time in LA, there, I did have a very good patch where I appeared on a bunch of different reality shows. I had a few celebrities I was working with, and a lot was happening with their music, and there was TV shows and other things, and it was really just a crazy period of my life. And I noticed during all of that period, when anyone would talk to me about it and everyone would be like giving me praises about it, and this is so exciting, I'm like, yeah, but I'm poor still. I'm still not making enough money. I have the notoriety, but I'm not making the kind of money that I should be. Or I was always making it sound miserable, that my
Yes.
joy was actually misery. And then later down on the, because to make them feel a certain way. And a lot of times that was simply on me. I was simply doing that because I didn't want to feel like I was bragging, or I didn't want to feel some
Yes.
sort of way. And I think a lot of times it was literally just me doing that, not because they were trying to make want that, but I also felt like they could digest it better if I did that. And then what happens is then it gets around. Do you know what I mean? Like then it's like people are like, oh, how are you doing? Like they're almost like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, it is actually exciting. It is actually exciting. I'm not miserable. I just said all that shit, and I shouldn't have said it that way.
Exactly. And your true friends will recognize that and be like, bitch, this is exciting. Like, stop wallowing, stop trying to downplay this?
Yes, but it took me a long time, because sometimes I even believe that those friends that were excited to celebrate my things, I felt like it was like fake to them, or they were just like some other kind of, like I didn't really believe them as much either,
Hmm.
and so, but it took me a long time to kind of realize that those friends are acting in the same way that I am. Because when my friends tell me something that they're exciting they're doing, even if it's something that I want to do too, and that I am so excited for them. But for some reason,
Hmm.
I thought in my head that they were just doing that because I was so used to the people that try to minimize me. And so now I only hang out with my friends who we celebrate each other. We are constantly like, you
Exactly.
got this. I'm commenting, I'm texting them. I'm like, girl, that photo you just posted, rock star vibes right there. Like, that is,
Exactly.
yes, so fucking iconic. Like, that's what I want people to be doing now. I only hang out with those friends, but it took me until I was in my 30s to get to that place.
Hmm. Because there's people that you leave and you feel excited, you feel inspired, you feel energized, you feel like they filled your cup. And then there are the people who are like vampires, and they literally suck the energy and the confidence and all of your spark right out of you. I've left people and I've literally had to give myself a pep talk after seeing them and be like, okay, like, you're okay. Don't worry about it. Like, let's just go home. Let's have a good night, because they had made me feel like such shit. And I walked into that evening and I was like, I'm ready for this. I got this. And I left completely drained. So if you're leaving your friends and you feel like they've sucked the life out of you, they've probably just dimmed your entire light.
Really, yeah. I hate that. When you're like so excited about something and then you leave that
Hmm.
interaction, you should be pumped up on cloud nine, but they've dropped you down to a level three and you're questioning your existence. Like, they drain all the
Hmm.
excitement out of you, all the energy out of you. Like, that is no,
Like, it
no.
sucks. Like, it
We,
straight up sucks. Like, I want to, like, if I'm going to give somebody my time, I want to leave feeling fulfilled. You know what I mean? Like, I know that when I'm going to go see you, I know that you and I are going to have a good time, and I'm going to leave you feeling warm and fuzzy and like I miss you and cry. But then there's people I leave and I'm like, I can't wait to go home.
yes,
I need to
exactly.
pep myself up. I need to give myself a pep talk, because that's how shitty I felt around that person.
Exactly. And like kind of back to like from the Dove Cameron interview, she was saying that this guy that she was dating, they had left like a function or an event or something, and he said like, people like you more when you talk less. So he was basically saying you're too much. And so
No.
anytime anyone says you're too much, they're just not enough to keep up. So they're
Mm-hmm.
feeling insecure about you. You're not too much.
Mm-hmm.
You are just
It,
enough. And if you can't hang out with us. You got to hang out with the people that are also too much because we're having
Hmm.
fun with our muchness.
Everyone's having fun with their muchness. The people that are like, oh, you're too much or whatever, no, they don't have the energy to keep up with you. Okay. Another thing too is when people make jokes about you a little too much. You know what I mean? Like there's a fun thing with common bantering, like you and I banter against each other, we tease each other, whatever. But when you are the butt of a certain person's joke all the time, especially in situations where maybe it's a professional situation or maybe you're in a new environment together and they just need to kind of make these ill-hearted jokes at you to put you down and then they laugh it off like, ha ha, ha, it's just a joke. It's like, no, you're dimming my light. Do
Yes,
you know
because
what I mean?
it's not
I've been
just
the
a
butt of
joke.
somebody's joke a little too often, and I was in a relationship with someone, and my friends had to point it out. They're like, this guy is borderline abusing you, but just playing it off like a joke. And when you notice it, you're like, oh, okay, hold up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that was I think that goes back to a lot to even just like when you're in school, when you're being bullied and stuff like that. Because they're, I mean, obviously they're not even hiding it as just like an innocent kind of joke or whatever. But that was just because they were trying to pull you down with them. And so when you're an
Mm-hmm.
adult and you're dating somebody, it's the same thing. They're bullying you because they want to bring you down a little bit to make them feel better about themselves. So
Exactly.
those jokes are not just jokes. It is simply on purpose. And I think there's a lot of guys that get with girls and they do that on purpose because they want the most beautiful, like outgoing personality kind of woman ever. They're attracted to that. But once they get them, they're like, we got to suck you down. You know what I mean? Like, we got to bring
Mm-hmm.
all of this down so that it's
Because they're not man enough to handle it, and they're too
ex-
insecure. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I always wonder, like,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see like such a fun, pretty girl get with this guy, and then he's like telling them, like, you can't wear that, you can't do this, or, don't talk about this, don't talk. So it's like everything that you liked about them and the reason you were attracted about them to them, you're gonna try to like pull all that down once you're with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No. Another one is they downplay your goals or your passions. So they'll might say things, you could be telling them like, "Oh, I'm writing a book." And they'll be like, "Oh, that's cute. Everyone's trying to do that now. Is that even a real job?" Like things like that. You know what I mean? Like don't downplay. If somebody's downplaying your accomplishments, your goals, your passions, no. You want someone that's going to match your energy. And if you tell someone something and you feel really insecure after, then you know that they dimmed your light. And it's probably out of the fact that maybe that's something that they want to do, but they don't have the confidence to do it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, there's certain people that when I talk about goals or dreams or things that I like that, I catch myself downplaying my own goals and downplaying my own
Yeah.
dreams, so that because I
Hmm.
remember there were so many people that I had all these big dreams growing up, and there were so many people that were like laughing at me and being like, "Oh, you could never, you're not that person. That's just not you, whatever," and that made me downplay my own goals and my own dreams, even though in my head I have this huge picture of what I want and what I'm working towards. But I gotta, around certain people, I gotta be like, well, maybe I'll just be this. Another big one is if they try to compete with you and not just cheer. So if you have something like really cool happening and you're like, and they should be like, oh my God, that's so exciting. They're like, well, I did this.
Oh my God. The one upping.
Yes, exactly. And it's that like, you can't like just like with even friends, you can be going after the same thing and doing the same thing and cheering for each other. It doesn't have to be a competition between
Hmm.
friends.
Hmm.
And I notice this
And
a lot.
friendships aren't competitions, they're collaborations.
Exactly. There are collaborations. I notice this a lot, like in my career, like doing hair, like there is certain people, like we are doing the same thing. We are working towards the same goals. We are trying to do the same whatever. But the thing is that like if I hit this, I want you to say congratulations, like as I would too. Don't make it so toxic over that.
Competitive.
Competitive.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's just,
Hmm.
yeah, no, you can be excited about something.
Hmm. And I mean, it's not just personal relationships with, like romantic partners or your best friends. Like people that dim your light can be coworkers, they can be family members, and it can just be even environments like a toxic workplace, social media comparison traps. Like there's things like that that you can start dimming your own light if you're comparing too much. And also too, like being your own inner critic. Like you need to be the one that is constantly building yourself up, that is constantly pushing yourself to just be fully in your muchness. You need to just know like who you are. You're a baddie, you got this, and no one is dimming your light, no one's taking away your sparkle.
Exactly. Yes, you gotta shine bright like a diamond, like
And if
Rihanna
you have,
said.
exactly, she, why, like honestly, we're so connected with her too.
Literally,
Clearly she wrote that for this episode.
shine bright like a diamond.
Yes. And if you have lost your spark, there's some simple ways that you can reclaim it. It will take time, but there's, setting boundaries, set even more goals to keep yourself motivated, staying focused on your goals, reconnecting with things that make you feel powerful, self care, self reflection, and cutting out the dimmers. So if there is someone around you that is always making you feel like shit, you need to stop seeing that person. You need to set boundaries and you need to take a step back from that person. And some people you can't avoid. It could be your boss, it could be your mom, it could be another family member, your husband, it could be someone that you actually can't get away from. And you just need to set boundaries around them.
Yeah, exactly. And you gotta go find your tribe, find your people.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that you can shine bright like a diamond with.
Yes.
The fellow.
Okay, before we close in, should we do a rapid fire of like things people say, like a dimmer detector?
Yes, let's do it.
Like if you hear this, and you got to run. Okay.
Okay,
You're too sensitive.
run. You're doing the most.
You're so extra.
Not everyone wants to be the center of attention.
That's kind of unrealistic, don't you think?
I would fight.
I'd fight. I'd
Do you
fight.
do you really need to post anything?
Everything? Yeah, I do. I do.
Aren't you a little too old
Aren't
for
you?
that? You're a little too old to be talking about that like that with me.
You're too confident. It's kind of intimidating.
That's just not realistic for someone like you.
Don't you think that's a little much?
That's not really a real career.
You're doing all that for like,
You're not really smart enough for that, are you?
you're pretty for someone like you.
Nobody likes a woman who's too confident.
You're kind of a tryhard, aren't you? These are things that we put together that like we've heard throughout the years, and we were like, these are things that just like stand out. And you know what? If you're hearing these, if people are saying these things to you, be weary. You're
Literally,
gonna dim your light, babe.
literally, I say yes to every single one of those. Yes. Yes, I am.
Hmm.
And you gotta
Hmm.
look in that mirror and be like, you know what? I'm a bad bitch.
Hmm.
I'm a bad
Hmm.
bitch. I'm gonna go out here and do bad bitch things. And we're not
Hmm.
listening to anyone try to say, we're going
Hmm.
straight Meg the Stallion.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You can't dim my light because I'm a chandelier.
So profound.
Deep. That was so deep.
Shine bright like a. I'm gonna whisper, shine bright like a diamond.
Oh my God. Alrighty, guys. Well, that's it for us. We hope you've enjoyed. We hope you feel inspired. We hope you know what a freaking baddie you are. So,
Yeah,
badasses out there listening to this, tuning in,
exactly.
we love you. And you're bright like a diamond. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.